question is that are we relevant to the very subject of this conference? It is for this question, can India rejuvenate River Ganga?
That's right.
The three groups did not mention about rejuvenation. And if we forget about rejuvenation, there is another term, river development. We don't think we have discussed river development. We discussed river bank development.
Correct.
Now, if river development is to be achieved, which will also imply river rejuvenation, then we have to concentrate on it.
Right. It's a point. Sir, you had a point. I think you'll have to just stand up and talk. I think you'll come up. Don't worry, I'll manage.
See, trying to follow the general drift of how things are going, finally we ended up with Mr. Modi. I think that's not a solution, really. I just want to say there's one theme which goes across all these three groups and everything, that we have to, when we talk about dams, when we talk about rivers, when we talk about how we use the forests, aquifers, that these things were created by evolution at least in 60 million years, right? Our Himalayas at least are 60 million, but if you go back to the whole country, 3 billion years of life. Now, they cannot be humanly engineered. Everything else we are talking about, that the government is talking about, your 7% growth from dams, which can be decommissioned, to any industry or building that can be built and unbuilt, does not apply to everything that is natural infrastructure. Now, if you're going to concentrate on something, you have to realize that you have to switch from artificial infrastructure, which kills natural infrastructure, it makes waste of the planet and dumps the waste on the planet, to natural infrastructure. And I think you should talk somewhat about this, because we have done a lot of non-invasive projects. One of them goes in Delhi, which gives water for 1 million people from the floodplains every year.
That's right.
Okay, so I think there's a shift that can take place, but it has to go to conserve and use solution.
That's right.
What is important even in our group was that conservation is the most important thing. But use is allowed as long as you can conserve, and we haven't made that transformation.
Thank you. So I think the first group made a very important point. Himanshu himself started out by saying that almost all of us know what needs to be done, but we don't seem to get a grasp on how is it to be done. And that was the fundamental question that was being answered. But आप बोलना चाहते थे कुछ?
सर, मैं गंगा एक्शन की जो 15वीं नदी है, कान सरस्वती, उस पे काम कर रहा था. टोपो शीट से आप तालाब का तो मार्किंग निकाल सकते हैं, नदी का कहीं भी पेटा निकालने की कोई व्यवस्था नहीं है.
बिल्कुल.
और मुझे जो काम करते हुए नजर आया, WRD जो वाटर रिसोर्स डिपार्टमेंट है, कितना कैचमेंट है, उससे उसकी विड्थ एक आइडेंटिफाई होके फिक्स हो जाए, ताकि लैंड रिकॉर्ड से जो झगड़ा खड़ा कर रहे हैं.
बिल्कुल.
दूसरा, उसमें एक सर टेक्निकल झगड़ा खड़ा किया है प्रशासन ने, शहरी नदियों को नाला बता दिया.
सही बात.
और नदी और नाले में जो कानूनी झगड़ा आ रहा है, नाले में आपको 9 मीटर बोथ साइड HFL से ग्रीन बेल्ट छोड़ना है, ओपन स्पेस छोड़ना है, लेकिन नदी से 33 मीटर. अब नदी और नाले की परिभाषा भी कहीं क्लियर नहीं मिल रही है. वैसे NGT ने एक ऑर्डर जरूर कर दिया है कि जो प्राकृतिक रूप से, चाहे बर्फीली, चाहे ग्रीन बेल्ट वाली पहाड़ी या वर्षा जल से बहने वाली धाराएं हैं, वो नदी है. मानव सभ्यता से जो सीवरेज निकलता है उसको नाला कहते हैं, और कानूनन रिकॉर्ड पे इन्होंने नदियों को नाला कन्वर्ट करके रखा है.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. Substantive point. I think some of the perenniality of the rivers in South India are based on wastewater flows. If there is no wastewater, the river itself will not flow, unfortunately. So that's the state of affairs that we have reduced it to. Yes, sir.
I also want to point out on the knowledge deficit about calculating environmental flows.
Right.
Basically, there is some problem with this methodology.
Right.
We have adapted to Western models. Every river in India is different.
Right.
Cross section is different. Even it changes even within 1 kilometer. And I've tried, all the like FDC, Testman, variable flow method, EMC, building block method. They're all outdated models. Even when you talk to them, they are also not very satisfied with their own models. Ideally, we should have our own Desi version of Aviral Plus or Nirmal Plus model of e-flows.
Bilkul.
And that should be ecological flows based upon the variable flow regime.
Right.
Because the E-flow doesn't respect the variable flow regime of the river.
We get the point. I think that was substantially discussed also in the morning, but I think there has to be a clearer definition of what we want.
Just a quick response to what he was trying to say. There are technologies available to actually demarcate what
Right.
was the river like, maybe 30, 40 years ago.
Right.
Although the topo sheets may not show that. And I'm actually doing a project for NMCG
Right.
where we are trying to use the 1965,
Right.
corona images, which were actually American spy satellite images, which are of the resolution of 4 to 5 meters actually
Right.
at that time.
Right.
And we are trying to build a document which will actually show it. Actually, the name of the project is Ganga of the Past.
Right.
So we'll actually produce a document which will show the Ganga in 1965 and the Ganga in 2018, for example.
So we will wait for the day when these maps are there, put up on the web by an institution which takes accountability for it, and then puts it up in transparent public domain so that everybody gets to take a look at it.
This is exactly what we're trying to do. We are actually going to put the entire map of
Right,
the Ganga from source.
And you're
to
from which
Faradka.
institution?
IIT Kanpur.
IIT Kanpur. That's wonderful. If a legal government body then approves your map and then puts it up and takes accountability and responsibility and is charged with that, that'll be a great service. Shripad, you wanted to say something?
I just want to make a general comment that, we have heard a few comments articulating that there has been enough said about the problems, but we need to know, what to do, how to do, and then, there's not much point in sitting in seminars and discussions. But I have a slightly different take on that. I want to remind all of us that all the people who have gathered here are people who are in their own work actually doing specific work to tackle all these problems. So I don't think we should be so pessimistic or cynical about it. Everybody here who has come here is either, having a fight or a campaign on the ground or some legal fight or some research or something. So I think the effort here is probably more important for us to see how we can take back and strengthen our own efforts, what we can take back. And second, what collective action can emerge from here or what collective efforts can emerge. Thanks.
I think that's an important point to make, not to be despondent or overtly pessimistic. Though I always think that old monk is the solution for many problems, but many may not agree. But that's a different take altogether. Sir, we are at 5:30. If there's anything substantive to be said, say it now, or let's all retire for tea or coffee. Yes.
One of the things that was concluded in the dams group, was that in the Ganga basin, we don't need any more dams. No more dams should be constructed. Under construction dams should also be scrapped. And if at all further there is any demand for dam, then before you take it up, following things needs to be done. Secondly, about achieving environment flows. There is a lot of talk about restructuring of the dam so that environment flows is possible. Some people were suggesting at the bottom there should be siphon, vagera. So what we have said is that you use all that, try all this out at existing dams, and don't propose new dams in the name of trying these redesigns. Thirdly, one of the dams, decommissioning is a talk, even the Shashi Shekhar mentioned in the morning. Now, one of the dams, and possibly the most impactful dams in the Ganga basin, is a dam on which a chief minister of a state had demanded decommissioning. Farakka. So we have said that, that's an elephant in the room. So if there is already a chief minister of a state has talked about, why should we not collectively support and ask for at least reviewing that dam, usefulness of dam? Yeah. Some of these things were also missed in the presentation.
Right. So this is the second elephant found in the room. In the morning we had found one. तो 2 हो गए हैं अब धीरे-धीरे बढ़ता जाएगा WW.
Yeah.